Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you for coming back again. I just wanted to give you guys a quick rundown of how I build these flags. Starts off with 8-foot long 1x10s. I pick those up. They're about $10 a piece. It takes one of those and then it's one cut from a second board. But what I do is I cut them down to 37 inches and then I run them through the table saw until I get these strips, which at that point I get them all stacked up nice and neat. I then take my 13 boards and I line them up. I've got a little jig I've kind of built here, holds everything perfectly square, and basically just make sure that everything's nice and even. I then go through and I pick which ones I want to burn and I pick which ones I like. Some of these have nice knots that'll look good on a finished flag, so I try not to burn the knots that look halfway decent, and then I just pick out the ones that I want to burn and I take them over and I burn them. I have a large torch that's hooked to a propane tank and it makes burning them no problem at all. I usually go back and burn the edges with a regular butane tank. Once I lay out my union, I'll just take those 3 boards that are only going to be halfway burned on the union and I'll put a piece of metal across and I'll just burn that half of it. The only other time I have to burn is after I drill the holes. Sometimes there's a little bit of tear away, so I'll take the small propane torch and I'll hit every hole around it and make sure that everything's burned, because I don't want a piece of fresh wood popping up in an area that's supposed to be all burned. So let me get started on this and I'll show you guys the rest of the process. This is what I use to do the burning, and it's real simple. As you see, that burns it real quick, and it gives it those charred cracks, which after the clear coat, I think look really good. And that's how we burn them. Got all the back on, and we've got it laid out, and I've got a stencil, and what I do is I just hold the stencil in place real good. I use a Forstner bit that I got from Rockler. If you need Forstner bits, I highly recommend Rockler. They've got some of the best prices on both individual ones as well as complete sets. But I go through and I just kind of mark it a little bit, and once I get them all done, I go back and I drill almost all the way through, and then like I said, I go back and I burn with a small propane torch and make sure any tear out that does happen is burnt, because you don't want to have a spot that's supposed to be nice and charred looking and then you've got this fresh piece of wood popping up from behind it. It's just not going to look right. So that's the process, and I will check back in with you guys in just a few minutes and show you where I'm at once I get everything drilled. Alright, so we've got all our pieces burned. We've still got to go through and do a light burn on the white stripes, But as you see, we got the union burned. We have the red stripes burned. The next thing is going to be to blow it off real well, because I don't want, when I go to clear it or handling it, big chunks of the burn part come off. So we'll get this all flipped over and I'll show you how we put it together using only Titebond 3 glue and brad nails. Okay, so like I've said a few times, I'm still new at this. And unfortunately, here's where I show I screwed up, and I own it. This is where you should be watching me finish up the flag. Unfortunately, somewhere in the editing process, I deleted the footage. That's what you get for shooting it on a camera phone. But basically, all I do is, after I'm done drilling the holes, I go back and I burn them with a propane torch. That way there's no clean looking wood where the charred wood is. I put 3 coats of polyurethane on. I use Minwax. I find it holds up well. You can brush it or you can spray it. At that point, 24 hours after the 3rd coat, I use 5-minute epoxy and I glue the shells in place. Then it's ready for delivery. I do apologize for this. I have another order for a flag next week, and I will certainly shoot it again. This time it'll look a whole lot better. I want to give a shout out to Jay Bates, who I reached out to for advice on this foobar of mine. Thank you. I appreciate your advice, buddy. And I'm going to upload the footage I do have, and then this disclaimer where I show what a newbie I am at the video editing process. So bear with me, guys. Hit the subscribe button. Things will get better. And if you have any questions, comments, or advice, please leave them below. I will send a link to Jay Bates' page, because the guy makes some phenomenal stuff, has some phenomenal videos, and sometimes it's even pretty funny. So thank you for sticking with me and not running away. Things will get better. Thank you, and have a great week.